He's requested a trade. And now, Sun president jabs back at Marina Mabrey in denying trade request.
Marina Mabrey has been facing quite a dramatic situation with the Connecticut Sun recently. It all started when she put in a trade request, hoping for a fresh start with a new team. The problem? The Connecticut Sun have flat out denied it, and not just in a quiet way either, they've made it clear that they have no intention of letting her go. And now, Marina is stuck in a situation she probably never saw coming. Not only did she think she could leave when things got tough, but she also thought she was in a position to make demands like a top-tier player in the league. Well, that's not the case, and it couldn't have happened to a more fitting person, given the past events that have unfolded. Marina's trade request was turned down, but the Connecticut Sun's response has been full of harsh words and a reminder that she's not exactly in a place to dictate terms. This came after Marina's not-so-diplomatic history with the team and the league. Let's break it down. Remember when Marina was caught laughing after Caitlin Clark was poked in the eye by DJ Carrington during a game? That moment, which was widely considered petty and unprofessional, has seemingly come back to haunt her. She thought she could laugh at another player's misfortune, and now karma is clearly serving her a reminder of how the tables can turn. The Connecticut Sun's president, Jennifer Rosati, was very candid when speaking to Sportico about Marina's trade request. Rosati said, "We knew at the time that she had already forced her way out of 2 teams, so it was a bit risky for us to trade for her, but we felt like it was worth it." That right there should have been a big red flag for Marina. The Sun took one look at her trade request and essentially hit her with a no stamp. The team is standing firm in their decision, and now Marina finds herself stuck. It's clear they're not entertaining her request like she thought they would. This isn't the NBA, and Marina is not one of the league's marquee players. She doesn't get to decide where she goes based on a whim. But Marina's trade request isn't the only thing that's brought her to this point. The reality of the situation is that her teammates have all left the team. Alyssa Thomas, Duana Bonner, DJ Carrington, and a few others have all packed their bags. Meanwhile, Marina is still stuck in Connecticut, left to try and carry the weight of a team that no longer has its stars. It was a sad moment when Marina found out that she was being left behind while everyone else moved on, but it wasn't all bad news for everyone. Caitlin Clark, meanwhile, is living her best life. Clark has been out here making plays that have the league buzzing. From draining three-pointers to turning heads with her undeniable skill, Clark is a force to be reckoned with, and her success just adds to the bitter irony of Marina's situation. After all, it wasn't too long ago when Marina was laughing at Caitlin Clark's pain, and now Marina is stuck in a situation with no easy way out. Caitlin Clark didn't have to say anything. Karma has handled it all for her. Marina's agent has responded, making it clear that neither Marina nor her representatives are pleased with Connecticut's decision to deny her trade request. The agent pointed out the absurdity of forcing a player to stay when they clearly don't want to be there, and how counterproductive that could be. It's hard to blame them. No player wants to be stuck in a situation where they're not happy, and when you look at Marina's trade request and the Sun's refusal to grant it, it's clear that the situation isn't just uncomfortable for her, it's unproductive for the team as well. Marina's agent further expressed how perplexing it was that Connecticut would choose this path, especially after trading away Hall of Fame caliber players. The Sun have essentially hitched their wagon to a player who doesn't want to be there, and as you can imagine, that's a recipe for disaster. Marina is now in the position of being the lone star in a team that's clearly been gutted. It's tough, and it's hard not to feel bad for her in this situation. But there's more to it than just a trade request. Marina's entire mindset going into this season has been questionable. She was hoping to be part of a championship caliber team, but now she's found herself on a squad that's in a total rebuild. As the team loses its star players, Marina's hopes for success seem more and more unlikely. When she saw her teammates leave, that's when the reality of the situation hit her. That's when she realized she might not be able to just pack up and leave for greener pastures like she hoped. Her Instagram post, which simply read "interesting," was later deleted, but it clearly showed how taken aback she was by the turn of events. It's not just about her wanting out, it's about the fact that Marina was not exactly in a position of power. When the Sun denied her trade request, it wasn't just a matter of denying her a chance at a fresh start, it was a statement about her position within the league. She doesn't get to dictate where she goes. She's not a free agent like some of the bigger names in the league, and Connecticut isn't about to let her waltz out the door and leave them with nothing. It's a tough reality for her, and she's now finding herself stuck in a situation that seems almost impossible to escape from. Meanwhile, players like Duana Bonner have made different moves. Bonner chose to leave the Sun after years of grinding with the team. She saw that the team had reached its peak and that it was time for a change. Now she's playing for the Indiana Fever, a team that's building something special with Caitlin Clark leading the charge. Bonner's move to Indiana positions her for the future, setting her up for a fresh start with a team that's on the rise. Meanwhile, Marina is left watching from the sidelines as her former teammates continue to progress. In the world of women's basketball, Caitlin Clark has emerged as one of the brightest stars. She's putting up numbers that have fans buzzing, and she's made it clear that she doesn't need gimmicks or extra attention to prove her talent. Her skill is unmatched, and her performance on the court speaks for itself. As Clark continues to rise, Marina's situation seems to be crumbling around her. Now, as Caitlin Clark is poised to take the league by storm, Marina is left to pick up the pieces of her failed season with the Connecticut Sun. The Sun's decision to deny her trade request has put Marina in a difficult position. She has to play another season with a team that's in disarray, surrounded by players who have left, and a coach who may not even be around much longer. Her hopes of joining a contender are dashed, and now she has to settle for another year of mediocrity at best. Meanwhile, the Indiana Fever are building something special. Caitlin Clark is the star player, but the Fever are surrounding her with talent, and with Bonner joining the team, the Fever have a real chance of contending in the near future. They're not just hoping for a playoff berth, they're aiming for a championship, and they have the talent to make it happen. For Marina, the future is unclear. The Sun may be hoping to rebuild with her as a cornerstone, but it's unlikely that they'll reach the heights that Bonner and other players have achieved. If Marina does stay with the Sun, she's facing the very real possibility of another disappointing season, one where her team might not even make the playoffs. Meanwhile, players like Bonner and Caitlin Clark are heading into a new era, one where success is within reach. Marina's time with the Connecticut Sun might not be as bright as she hoped. She'll likely be forced to face another season of disappointment, knowing that she's stuck in a situation that she can't escape. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever are building for the future with big things on the horizon. It's a tough reality for Marina, but perhaps it's also a reminder that things don't always go the way we expect. Karma, it seems, is very real.